Hello friend, welcome back to my channel. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. It's Tim here, and in this video I'm going to be guiding you through part 1 of Golden Harvest, which is a fall-inspired Impressionist painting. I love all of the colors and textures of fall, so I thought it would be fun to do another painting with the Turpentine brush. I was also a little stuffed up when I recorded this video, so I apologize that I sound sick. We're going to be covering a lot of fun painting topics in part 1, so I'm excited to begin. Here are the hex codes for the color palette listed out in expanded palette view, which will give you a palette that looks like this. I created this painting using an Apple Pencil Generation 2, and I have my display screen setting set to P3. And if you need any help inserting hex codes into a color palette, I do have a video now up on my channel on how to do this, so if you need it, definitely go check it out. Here are the list of brushes that we're going to be using, which are all located in the default classic library of Procreate. The first step of the tutorial is to take a screenshot of our trace outline layer and insert it into a blank square size canvas on Procreate. Then you're going to turn the opacity down and fit the corners to the side of the screen like this. Next, we're going to add a new layer, and then with the technical pen in the color black, we're going to trace over the top of our trace outline. That way you have a guide for your painting. Please feel free to take any breaks that you might need along the way, and when you're ready, let's begin. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn our trace outline layer down. Let's turn it down to like 10%. Let's go ahead and add a new layer, and we're going to put that layer underneath of it. Let's go ahead and switch over to the paintbrush, and let's use the soft brush. Let's do like 12% brush size with full opacity. Using the third color in the first row, I'm going to go ahead and start by painting a stripe of color across the top, starting from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, just like this, and then holding it down to straighten it out. Let's go ahead and grab the fourth color in the first row and paint another stripe. And we're going to kind of start in the middle of that color swatch, so about right here, holding it down to straighten it out. Let's go ahead and grab the fifth color in the first row and repeat the same step, holding it down to straighten it out. Let's go ahead and repeat that with the sixth color. Let's go ahead and grab the first color in the second row, repeating that same step across. And then with the second color in the second row, and ending with the third color in the second row. We're going to repeat that same step for the last time, which should line up with the mountain area just like that. All right, so let's go ahead and add a new layer. We're going to put that layer into overlay. Still using the soft brush. Let's do like 7-8% brush size with like 60% or so opacity. And using the second color in the first row, the color white. Starting on the left-hand side, we're going to just start adding polka dots to the entire top row across, and then working our way down and across again. Working from left to right, just kind of in a random fashion. Just like that. Now let's go ahead and turn the opacity of this layer way down. Let's turn it down to like 21%. Let's go ahead and add a new layer. Let's put this layer into soft light. And we are going to use the first color in the first row, the color black. And let's shrink our brush. Let's shrink it to like 4% and then like 39% or so opacity. And starting up here, we're actually going to paint little figure eights across, just like this. Ending on that right-hand side. Nothing needs to be too perfect here. Let's go ahead and turn this layer's opacity way down. Let's turn it down to like 45% or so. We're going to go ahead and merge these 3 layers together, just like that. Now let's use Gaussian blur and blur that out to around about 26% or so. Let's go ahead and add another new layer. We're going to put that layer into soft light. Let's grab the second color in the first row, the color white, and using those same settings, about halfway up, about right here of that lighter area, so about right there, we're going to paint another set of figure 8s going across, just that lower middle area here, just like that. Now let's use Gaussian blur and blur that out around 30% or so. Let's go ahead and merge that layer down. Now let's go ahead and switch over to using the blending tool with the Turpentine brush. Let's do like 11% brush size, and let's do like 60% or so opacity. And starting up here on this left-hand corner, we're going to blend this out across in rows to do a little bit of pre-blending. And we're going to be using a W scribble paint stroke. So it kind of looks like this, only like really fast. Like kind of like that, kind of a scrubbing W, if that makes sense. So starting up here on this left-hand side, working our way from left to right in rows, we're going to start blending this out. It's like a quick W scrubbing paint stroke. And then working our way across again, kind of blending in the middle of the 2 areas. And then repeating that same step. Working our way down and across. And finishing that off here towards the bottom, like 3/4 of the way down. Now let's use Gaussian blur, and we're going to blur this layer out again. Let's blur it to around 20%. Let's go ahead and make a copy of this layer, and we're going to go ahead and merge these 2 layers together. Now we're going to go ahead and blend it out. To create the texture for the background in this upcoming section, we're going to be using single pass paint strokes that are all slanted slightly to the right like this. One going up to the right, one kind of going to the side to the right, and one going almost sideways to the right. And each one of these paint strokes are randomly going to be layered on top of each other like this, creating a very textured effect, making sure nothing is too similar and very organic and random in the way that they're placed. And we're going to be using this technique to blend with, so that way when you go to blend them out doing this technique, you end up with something that looks like this. With the Turpentine brush again, let's go down to like 4% brush size with like 84% or so opacity. We're going to use single pass, singular paint strokes going off upwards and to the right slightly, kind of like this. So up, up, over like that. And we're going to repeat those across in random patterns. So you don't want to just keep like on top of each other. You'll want to kind of just variegate it. So let's erase that here. So starting up here on this left-hand corner, I'm going to get rid of our palette. Placing random paint strokes across, creating what will become the texture for our sky. Let's work our way down and across again. And continuing to repeat this until we reach the bottom. The randomness really helps to add to the depth of texture too. You don't want anything too uniform. Now, as soon as you reach the bottom, we're going to go ahead and repeat this on what's remaining on the right-hand side. So starting at the top and moving our way over in rows. Hopefully there won't be too much left for you. And actually, I think I'm going to turn, let's use hue and saturation. And actually, we're going to turn this layer down just a little bit. Let's turn it to around 47%. Let's go ahead and add a new layer. We're going to come down here, and this is going to be literally the easiest mountain ever. Let's go ahead and grab the paintbrush with the soft airbrush. Let's do like 14% brush size with full opacity. Let's grab the first color in the first row, the color black. Now we're going to take this new layer and we're going to put it into soft light. So starting up here on this right-hand corner where the mountain peaks at, we're going to trace this outline here, working our way down and across. We're actually going to come across the tree here, ending right here on this left side edge. And then right underneath of it, I'm going to paint a straight line across, following this line here. It's roughly 3/4 of the way across. And then using color drop, we're going to go ahead and fill it in. Now let's go ahead and switch over to the blending tool with the Turpentine brush again. Let's do 5% brush size, 79% or so opacity. And then using just a back and forth sideways scribble motion. Just a nice scrubbing paint stroke there. We're just going to create a little bit of texture on this mountain. And we're going to work our way across. Just following the edges here, just like that. And then we're going to repeat that along the bottom side edge, kind of just dragging some of what is the transparency from the white across. Just creating a little bit of color texture along the bottom edge. Just super easy. Which completes our mountain. When you're happy with your mountain, now it's time to paint the trees. And I wanted to take a quick moment to thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel, friend. If you're enjoying this video, I invite you to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel out. Let me know below what your favorite fall-themed drink is. Mine is anything chai and pumpkin flavored. In this upcoming section, we're going to be using my favorite technique to create background trees with, and we're going to be using up and down zigzag paint strokes that are random and close together of varying heights. That way we can create the impression of background trees just like this. And then we're going to be using the same brush with the same technique to blend them out with. Let's go ahead and add a new layer. Let's go ahead and zoom up here. Let's grab the paintbrush with the Turpentine brush. I know I've got Turpentine Brush 1 and 2 on there, but they're both the same. And they just got duplicated somehow, and I just ended up leaving it. So let's go ahead and grab the 6th color in the second row. And starting right here along this edge, using up and down zigzag paint strokes of varying heights, we're going to follow this edge, following the curve of the mountain. And I am going just a little bit above the line, but not too far above. And if you need a little bit of extra color boost, you can always lift the brush up to kind of reset the stamp pattern. This brush does trail away a little bit as it goes on longer and longer, which is great for blending, but not for solid color application. And then ending there on that right-hand side. Now we're going to go ahead along this bottom middle edge here And we're going to kind of follow it across again. Kind of just repeating the same steps, but in the middle. Now we're going to start filling in some of this area here. And then filling in this last bottom section across. Just like that. Let's go ahead and grab the 5th color in the 2nd row, that darker shade of, it's like a spruce green, like a really paled out spruce green. And starting along this, just the very bottom edge, using our up and down zigzag paint strokes, we're going to add just a little bit of color depth along this bottom edge. Repeating this across, lifting it up occasionally to get a little bit more intense color. Just very random. And then finishing off here on this right side. Let's go ahead and switch over to the blending tool now with the turpentine brush. I almost said the zigzag brush, the turpentine brush, but it's kind of the same thing. I'll have to create a tutorial for how to recreate this brush in case they take it away, and I'll just call it the zigzag brush. Let's do like 4% brush size with around 69% or so opacity. Now we're going to blend it out using the exact same technique, up and down zigzag paint strokes, using varying heights, and just kind of thinking about it like softening it up a little bit, kind of just blending our colors and creating some new details. This brush is one of my absolute favorites. Kind of going a little above the line, but not too far above. And then we're going to repeat this for the bottom middle area here. Just kind of blending that darker color in with what we have going on above. Kind of softening some of it up. Because we still have all that white underneath, it creates just a really nice transparency for us to blend against. All right, when you're happy with your trees, we're actually going to create a duplicate layer of them. So let's duplicate this, and then we're going to turn it way down. Actually, let's turn it down to like 63%. Let's go ahead and merge the 2 layers together. Let's go ahead and add another new layer. We're going to put that layer into soft light. Let's grab the 2nd color in the 1st row, the color white. And we're going to go ahead and just fill this outline in here. Just like that. Now, let's go ahead and switch over to the blending tool with the same settings. That was what? 3% brush size, around 69% or so opacity. And we're going to just follow and blend around these edges here, just creating some texture for the moon. And I'm going to come back in with the paintbrush, and using a scrubbing paint stroke, we're going to just add a couple of extra paint strokes within the moon itself. Let's go ahead and use the eraser tool. We're going to use the eraser tool. Let's do it with the soft airbrush. Let's do like 9% brush size with full opacity. And around these edges, we're going to go ahead and just clean up the edge line of this moon to kind of sharpen it up a little bit. Just like that. I'm going to turn our trace outline off for a moment, seeing how it looks. Let's go ahead and add a new layer. and turn our trace outline layer back on. And we are going to use the Turpentine brush again. Let's do like 6% brush size with full opacity. Let's grab the 5th color in the 4th row. And starting up here on the trunk, we're going to go ahead and just fill in the tree trunk using back and forth zigzag paint strokes. Give us a nice base for our tree. And filling in this upper branch. If you make it a little wide, you can always go in and erase that. There we go. Actually, let's clean that up a little bit. I got a little carried away there. Then I'm going to fill in this bottom section. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this layer. Let's turn the brush's opacity down. Let's turn it to like 56%. And let's grab the 4th color in the 4th row. And along this right side edge, we're going to just scribble a little bit of highlight color up the tree and then across the branch and then on this branch. Let's shrink our brush size. Let's shrink it to like 3%. Let's go ahead and grab the 3rd color in the 4th row. And we're going to repeat that same step, just being really light-handed about it. Putting some highlight color on the tree trunk. And then along the branch, and then this branch. Just like that. If you get any along the side, you can always go ahead and clean that up. And I may clean that edge up just a little bit right there. And right there. And right there. Looks good. Let's go ahead and duplicate this layer. And I'm going to turn the duplicate layer way down. Let's turn it to like 22%. And then we're going to merge the two together, which makes it a little bit more solid. In this upcoming section, we're going to be using an unconventional method, but one of my favorites to create background color texture for our tree. It involves painting a lot of polka dots. All right, so let's go ahead and add a new layer. Let's grab the 6th color in the 4th row. Switch over to using the paintbrush with the soft airbrush. Let's do like 40% brush size with full opacity. Starting here on this left-hand side edge at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and fill this tree outline in. We don't have to be too careful about it. Now using color drop, let's go ahead and fill it in. And then if that happens, whoops. And then you can use the paintbrush to kind of fill in that edge if that happens there, that little threshold line. Let's add another new color. Let's go ahead and grab the 5th color in the 5th row. Starting right here at the edge of this tree branch, we're going to paint some polka dots across just randomly, and then we're going to paint it down again. And we're going to kind of just follow this line here. I feel pretty tricksy when I created this guide for the painting because I knew that edge, the tree trunk edge, was actually going to be the edge of the highlight. The highlight. And I was like, ooh, that's fancy. Anyways, it's the small things. We're going to just keep filling that in with random polka dots. Just like that. And now in this remaining space, we're going to add just a couple of polka dots, but nothing too crazy, if that makes sense. Which should leave you with something that looks like this. Let's go ahead and grab the 4th color in the 4th row. Now in this area that has the sparse polka dots, we're going to add just a couple of polka dots of this dark color here. Just like this. Now, in the heavier area, let's start here at the bottom. We're going to put just a couple kind of coming over into that area, and they can cross over the lighter dots. They don't need to be too perfect. Just a hair. We're not going out to the outer edge. Let's go ahead and add a new layer. I'm going to shrink our brush size a little bit. Let's go to like 37%. Go ahead and grab the 4th color in the 5th row. Starting on this left side edge, very sparingly, we're going to add some red dots, polka dots here and there across the entire tree, but nothing too crazy. Just like that. And actually, I'm going to turn this layer down a little bit. Let's turn it down to like 80%. Let's go ahead and add a new layer. And let's go ahead and grab the 2nd color in the 3rd row. And roughly starting right where those two edges meet along this line, we're going to sporadically add some of these gold polka dots across. Kind of sparingly, not kind of like a medium amount. And we're going to kind of follow that same curve on the way down. Just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and turn this layer down. So let's use hue and saturation and turn it down to like 44%. Then I'm going to turn the saturation down to like 45%. Let's go ahead and add a new layer. And we're going to repeat that same step. And using the same color, kind of put those new dots in between where the other gold ones were from the step before, if that makes sense. Kind of just filling that in here. Creating a nice highlight around that edge. And then we're going to take these dots. In this area that doesn't have a whole lot, we're going to add just a couple of dots here and there. Nothing crazy though. Which should give you something that looks roughly like this. When you're happy with your dots, we're going to go ahead and merge just the dot layers together. Be careful not to merge it into the tree trunk. So you'll have the tree trunk and then the tree layer itself. Now let's use Gaussian blur and blur it out to around 14%. Now let's switch over to the blending tool with the Turpentine brush again, kind of like the way we did the sky. Let's do like 10-11% brush size. Let's just do full opacity for the blending. And now using those scribble zigzag W's, let's go ahead and just roughly blend out the tree, working our way across in rows. Which, when they're blended, create a really beautiful autumn tone for our tree. Just like that. And with this, we've reached the end of part 1, and it'll continue in part 2. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun. This is one of my all-time favorite seasons to paint, and I love painting with the Turpentine brush, so I'm really looking forward to part 2. In the meantime, if you want to continue painting, I do have a ton of other tutorials up on my channel to discover, so definitely go check those out. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, I invite you to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel out. Please take care of yourself, friend, and until next time, happy painting.